Noor Islamic Bank is a fairly new bank. It's 5 years old since we opened our doors. We are based in UAE, in Dubai. It's the bank was established with a capital of $1 billion and with majority shareholding to the government. The bank has, were established to aspire to be different, or to present Islamic banking in different light, where we wanted to create more of a progressive, global, and I would say tolerant bank, which can play a different role in the Islamic banking by adding value to the industry. UAE market where we exist is typically a very competitive banking market. It's a very crowded actually market. Even with Islamic banks, we have 6 of them, competing on the same market. As far as we are trying to, present ourselves in different way. For example, today our wholesale businesses still represent the majority of our what we do. Still, around 80% of our business is wholesale and corporate debt structure. But we still want to grow our consumer banking in the UAE market. So we have like about 17 branches and we cater for customers. However, we know that is a market that will take a while to build. The other side of it, that Noor wants to also present itself as a global player. So we keep looking across the border, and we see many opportunities, within the GCC. So we positioning ourselves to be the conduit of business between the major center of Islamic banking, which is today the GCC, Southeast Asia and Turkey. And we realize there is a market and players in each of these markets, but nobody is playing cross business or take business cross border or connect, which is the subject of today's conference, where we have been very interested in. Islamic banks, even with the crisis, still did not get affected as much as the conventional bank. And the reason is that they were not involved in speculative activities, and they were not invested in any the so-called toxic assets. Even with the crisis that happened, Islamic banks were diversified, and not only in the real estate, because we are asset-backed. Truly, we like asset-backed business. However, that can vary into infrastructural project, into machineries, into any kind of assets. Islamic banks, or let me talk about Noor. Particularly, Noor is a new bank. So actually, when the thing happened, we were in the middle of the crisis when we launched. And I would say, luckily, that we have been, resilient, and we followed a strategy. We changed our strategy, but to protect our capital and to go through, the storm. What I'm saying now, Noor is in a much better shape. Following the same strategy, actually, we managed to, record the profit 1 year earlier than what we're supposed to do. The first quarter of this year also look optimistic. So I am, I think, despite the crisis, and the crisis provided also opportunity for us to fill, a gap of where many banks have pulled out. And we diversify ourselves by having a different kind of model of business, which is, what we benefit. Like, look at our business in Turkey. We managed in the last 18 months to, do business of $2.1 billion. I think that's what gives Noor that kind of difference. I think the future hold, a good prospect for Noor as we go. and we're still looking at it. I'm here also in Singapore to look at these opportunities to see if we can replicate what we've done, you know, in other markets in the GCC and in Turkey, in Southeast Asia, where you have the biggest Muslim population and you have the third center of Islamic, you know, finance, and yet we are not doing enough business. You know, when I use the word we have used that actually to become the largest Islamic bank. And when I say largest, it's not necessarily large in your presence or large in number of branches or large in your assets. I meant to be large enough to make an effect. I'm even talking here like saying that the Islamic banking industry is so fragmented that we cannot do cross-border. We don't do cross-border simply because we are too small. And there is a lot of ways of creating that scale. One way, you know, to grow bigger, and that's, you know, maybe you need to add your capital or grow, you know, organically. But there's another way, is to collaborate together to create a sizable deal. If we manage to create sizable deal flows through a cooperative approach in the Islamic, you know, banks cross-border, we will get the opportunity to grow and create that kind of depth the conventional banks enjoys, especially the international ones. I think the corporate and wholesale banking is our expertise at the moment. This is what we know how to do best, and this is the area where we can compete with anybody. The consumer banking is very important to any Islamic bank because that is the source of pooling liquidity. It's very important to nurture it and grow it over you know, time. Today we are treating them as two separate businesses and growing into different areas, but at the end the whole picture will become when you'll find yourself relying more and more on your depositors and deposits in order to support the main, you know, let's say corporate business or other businesses that we can create in the future. Yeah, you know, I'm hoping, you know, the GCC we have been late in opening to each other, but you know, I believe in cooperative approach, and we've done a lot of deals, you know, with you know, our other friendly banks, other Islamic banks, you know, within the region. You know, we're always going to, you know, continue having our vision and image that, because my job, you know, as the group CEO of the bank is to grow, is to create that growth, and this, I feel, in 5 years will happen. All what I'm saying, the first 5 years, in a very difficult time, and we managed to be there, and we're still, you know, growing. So I'm hoping in the coming 5 years we'll do much better than. I mean, I'm looking at a place where we can. We are looking at Malaysia. Malaysia has the largest sukuk issuer in the world. 2/3 of the sukuk market exists in this market. We have surplus liquidity in the GCC. We have, you know, future high potential countries like Indonesia next year, with Islamic banking that is growing at very rapid pace. I see all these are very good opportunities to do business. I mean, how that business will happen, in my opinion, the business happens when we understand the risk, when we know the market very well, when we know the partners that we deal with in the market. You'll see more growth, you'll see more players, you'll see more markets are opening up. You know, with the Arab Spring, we've seen different attitude toward establishment of Islamic banks. We're seeing Islamic banks coming in market that never been there, like Indonesia. We'll see more players, so at least you will see more, I would say, volume and more sizes. The challenges is, I maintain, will be when we're gonna play cross the border and stop being domestic industry. I think this is the challenge and the differentiation for us.